Let me show you how to manage users in Time Matters for the firm. From the main menu bar, click File. Point to Setup, then User and Security, and click on Users. Basically, a user is anyone who logs into the program to view, change, or enter data. A user is not the same as staff, although the two are usually related. Staff is anything that can be assigned to events, matters, and other records. It can be a person or even a conference room, allowing you to include the room when you schedule events to indicate that it's reserved. Most of the time, each user has a staff identity, but more than one user can share the same staff. For example, a secretary might use the staff of a partner to schedule events for him. From the list of users, you can add, change, or delete users for the firm. Pick one of the buttons to learn more. When you are done, click Close to exit the lesson. When you need to add a new user, click the Add button to launch the new user wizard. The wizard helps us by stepping us through the setup, but you can disable it if you prefer to enter information directly on the user form. Fields with the red asterisk are required, so don't forget to complete them. Let's start by typing the name of our new temp, a unique user ID for her, and a password since we have security turned on. She won't need access to Time Matters Mobility, but we do need to add an email address for her. Click Next to continue. Each user must be associated with a staff record, and normally all users have their own. However, if someone doesn't need a calendar and won't be assigned records, you can associate that user with another staff record. The default setting is to create a new staff record for each user. When this option is selected, the new staff wizard automatically opens after you finish adding the new user. Let's create a new staff record for our new temp. Next, we need to select security settings. They can be assigned specifically for this user, copied from another user, or inherited from a security profile. Since we have security profiles set up, let's use one of those. Open the drop-down list to view the existing profiles. Let's choose temp staff since Mary is a temporary worker. When we use a security profile, all the users in that profile are updated anytime we make changes to it. We can also override the profile for a user if needed. Let's continue. We are at the end of the new user wizard. The box in the middle shows the new user ID and password and has a link to the Time Matters installation file if needed. Now we need to let the user know how to access the program. Click the To Clipboard button to copy the information and paste it into an email to the user. Then we just click the Finish button to exit the wizard. At this point, additional wizards would launch automatically to help us create a new staff record or individual security profile if we selected those options earlier. Back at the list of users, the new user is displayed in the list. If you need to update a user, click to select it in the list. Then select the Change button. Notice that the user form contains several tabs. From the General tab, you can modify the user's name, default staff or group, access to mobility, password settings, and restrict login access. The Access tab allows us to change the user's security settings and access rights for both normal and private records. From the Overall Program Access tab, we can customize this user's access to specific screens and forms. Currently, this user has access to all setup areas. To restrict access to any area, click the Y to the right of it, changing it to an N, and locking the user out of that area of the program. On the Special Exceptions tab, we can set user-level exceptions that override the overall program access settings. Exceptions can be made at the staff, contact, matter, or code level. For example, this user cannot view, change, or delete private, custom, or billing records for Betty Arthur. The Security Profiles lesson includes a detailed explanation of how to configure security settings and exceptions if you want to learn more. For now, let's go back to the General tab. Let's add an email address for this user. Let's reset his password by entering a new one. Then retype to confirm it. Let's force him to change the password at his next login by checking that option. Then click OK to save our changes. The user has been updated. Now we need to send him an email to let him know his temporary password so he can get back into Time Matters. When a Time Matters user is no longer with the firm, you should always remove the record to prevent access and protect the firm's data security. This is especially important if the user has access to Time Matters Mobility. Let's select the user in the list. And then click the Delete button. You'll always see a warning asking if you are sure you want to permanently delete the record. We are sure, so let's click Yes. That's all it takes to remove a user from Time Matters. Now, Mary can't access Time Matters from any desktop or mobile device. Now that you are familiar with how to add, change, and delete users, you can learn more about setting up security profiles, user groups, and staff by selecting those lessons.